What if Donald Trump had gotten assassinated? What would have happened, bro? That's something that's been on my mind, and we're about to find out. It's all hypothetical, of course, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. As always, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, join the fam. Almost at 10K, and there's a lot more coming, so let's get it.
On July 13th, 2024, Donald Trump escaped an attempt on his life. He managed to turn his head at just the right angle so that a bullet shot in his direction grazed his ear
Crazy.
rather than hitting him in the head. But what would happen if he didn't turn his head? What if Donald Trump was assassinated that day? Who would replace him? And could this lead to an American Civil War?
Oh yeah, hands down, hands down. Oh yeah, definitely.
In this video, we're going to go through multiple scenarios on what would happen if Donald Trump got assassinated. The first one we'll look at is if he actually got shot on July 13th. Now, I need to be clear that at the time of this recording, the assassination attempt is still being investigated. So some detail.
No lie, no lie. I gotta admit, the first time I heard about it and I saw like the videos and clips, I'm like, this gotta be fake. There's no way this is real. This gotta be like a publicity stunt. It gotta be something for like voting. Like it gotta be something, right? Because it's insane to think about. Like what?
May change, but what we do know is that the shooter came incredibly close. Another thing that I want to make clear is that I don't wish ill will toward anyone. If
Facts.
you're new to the channel, you should know that we often look at news stories and give our hypothetical take on it. That's all that this is. In Butler, Pennsylvania, on July 13th, the assassin shot from 140 meters away. Trump had just turned his head a couple of centimeters. If he hadn't have done this, it's very likely that he would have been killed by the bullet. Instead, the shot grazed his ear. If he hadn't been so lucky,
Talk about
we'd
luck.
be looking at a completely different world today. Donald Trump would be dead. So, what would happen next? One of the most important things that would need to be figured out would be who would take the mantle of the Republican presidential nominee. It all depends on when this happens. The answer can change if it were before the Republican National Convention or after. So, in the case of the July 13th assassination attempt, things would get a little more complicated. Since this event happened.
Yeah, like who would actually like who would replace him though? That's like the main thing. Who would replace him? But to be honest, I think we have bigger issues to actually like think about before even thought like talking about replacing him because yeah, we will definitely have some bigger issues to be dealing with.
Happened right before the Republican National Convention, which was set for July 15th, the delegates involved in selecting the Republican presidential nominee would have to move incredibly fast. With little time in between the shooting and the convention, the nominee would likely be decided on the convention floor that night. It would be incredibly messy and frantic. There'd be backroom deals and public speeches from the hopeful nominees. Now, since Trump had no strong opposition during the primaries, almost everyone could be considered.
Yeah, it would literally flip the whole world upside down because like from political standpoint to like just like regular media, social media, it just like everything just yeah, it's that'll be one hell of a week. That'll be one
Like
hell of a
going back
week.
to square one. Even people who didn't run in the primaries could be nominated. This would be a night full of bids for power, and whoever's left standing would be the Republican nominee, who would then run for president. Now, there are some other scenarios that we'll get into in a bit, but what might happen outside of politics?
Yeah.
Well, the answer to that is a lot more unknown and potentially terrifying. Donald Trump was seen yelling "fight" after he got shot, and there's a good chance his supporters would do just that. Now, we're not saying everyone, but
History repeats itself. Hey, I'm just saying. I mean, January, I'm saying 6th didn't look all that, too far apart. I'm saying? Fight. The last time he told his supporters to go all out. I mean, the Capitol kind of like took the L.
the extreme fringe of his base might
Yeah.
possibly
See, it's the
engage.
same thing I'm talking about. The Capitol took an L the last time he told them to, hey, fight, do what you gotta do. Hey, you know what I'm saying? They're taking over America, do what you gotta do. Last time he said that, this what happened. So
Just look what happened on January 6th, 2021. Trump supporters stormed the United States Capitol building. This was after their emotions were stoked by talk about a stolen election, a claim that after their emotions were stoked by talk
now they have bulletproof glass that shielding and whatnot. Why we can't use that same budget for the former president? It should, no matter what, once a president, always a president. You should always have that extra mile of protection, bro. I don't care.
talk about a stolen
I don't
election.
care how safe you feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, the safer you feel, the more you're in danger, bro. I'm telling you.
A claim that was proven to be false. So, what would happen if their leader was assassinated? Well, they'd likely be looking for someone to blame, potentially a group of people or the opposing party.
Yep.
Donald Trump has incredibly passionate supporters, more passionate than what
If you didn't hear the Tom McDonald song, I actually have a reaction to it. I think I'm gonna link it to this video, and also, yeah, bro, he already blaming the opposition. He already saying, yeah, they come from the left side. That shot, yeah, that hit came from the left. I'm like, bro, you can't say that, bro. Especially if you just dropped the song less than 24 hours after it happened without any facts. Like, you can't do that, bro.
we've seen from almost
Especially with the platform you have, you can't do that, bro. You're gonna start something that you're not ready for.
any other political figure in the past. There's a good chance there could be outbursts of violence and civil unrest. Hopefully, this violence would be contained to small pockets of the country and not become a full-on civil war. With Biden still being president and commander-in-chief, he's in control of the military. If things got out of hand, hopefully they'd be able to put a stop to it. And hopefully no bigger militias would form either. Now, even without any violence, Trump would be idolized even more than he is today. Supporters would make him a martyr. And if some people on the left were happy that this happened,
Yeah.
this would create an even bigger political divide across the country. The new Republican nominee would certainly use this as fuel to energize voters, turning him or her into an even stronger candidate. And more Trump supporters might be inspired to vote in the election now, even without him in the race. But what if Trump wasn't dead, but incapacitated? Well, technically the rules and laws that are in place would still apply, but there could be
Really?
more nuance. If there's a chance Trump comes back and he's healthy, then the party would likely debate whether or not he could continue as the nominee. They'd also consider if he'd be in good enough shape to be sworn in if he potentially became president. Now, the story is a little bit different if the assassination attempt happened after the RNC on July 15th. Donald Trump would be elected as their nominee, so what would happen if he were to die before the election? Well, you might think that his running mate would be automatically elevated, so his current choice for vice president, J.D. Vance, would become the presidential nominee, but that's not the case.
Oh,
The
really?
nominee for president would still be voted upon by the Republican Party. They might go back to square one and reconvene the National Convention, or they might just select a new candidate. There's a good chance that Trump's running mate would become the presidential nominee, but it's not a guarantee. Other party members might want to get into the mix. Now, the same rules would apply if Trump won the election on November 5th. That would make him the president-elect until Inauguration Day on January 20th. If he were to die between those dates, the vice president-elect doesn't automatically become president.
Oh, really?
Since Trump wouldn't officially
Wait, even though he's elected, so wait, until the inauguration is when it's official. Damn, I didn't know that. I thought it like one is like the votes, everything is like fully counted and everything is like locked down. Like, okay, bam, he's the president. I didn't know that. Interesting.
be sworn in, the 25th Amendment, which allows the vice president to become president if the current one dies, wouldn't be applicable. Now, this got me thinking, could anything like this potentially delay the election? Well, technically it could, but it's incredibly unlikely. Election day is set by federal law, and it's November 5th. In order for this to change, it would need to be voted on in the House of Representatives and in the Senate.
Oh, that's
the
a
president would need to sign off as well, but this can only happen if both parties are in agreement, which seems unlikely, especially given the political divide gripping the United States. Also, this would only delay the election by a couple of weeks. As the Constitution states, a president needs to be sworn in by January 20th of the following year. Failing that, there would be no president and things could get really ugly.
Out of
Now,
hand,
this
yeah.
is how the election would be handled, which boils down to a lot of bureaucracy and systems we already have in place. What happens next could be extreme civil unrest, violence, anger, a potential civil war. It's safe to say this would be a scary time for America for a
Facts.
number of reasons.
Bro, I was thinking about that same thing and I'm like, bro, imagine. Oh my bro. You'd have to hunker down. Hunker down.
On the other hand, maybe a violent act like this might inspire Americans to put down their weapons and come together. But
That's
considering the
wishful
political
thinking.
division, that seems unlikely.
Yeah.
Now, this is not a fun hypothetical scenario. Regardless of where you stand on the political spectrum, it would be a scary time for Americans and for people around the world. Let's just hope this assassination attempt doesn't lead to any further violent acts. I know I don't want to end up in a World War III,
Facts.
but that sounds like a story for another What If.
That's it for this video. Let me know in the comments what you think as well. And also like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one.